Hello and welcome to the I Make Art Hire Me podcast. I am your host, Nick Maybury. This is the podcast where we discuss everything that you can't find in a textbook. Specifically, I'm thinking of the Animator Survival Kit when I say that. Fun fact. Today we're joined by the guests that we had in episode 1, Nathaniel Catane and Lloyd Duchuk. Introduce yourselves.
You can go first, Lloyd.
I'm Lloyd Duchuk. I think I have the dubious honor of being the person other than Nick who is in the most failed attempts at these podcasts. And that's really the most interesting thing about me that I want the internet to know.
Wait, what do you mean most failed attempts at podcasts?
Like podcasts that Nick will not show.
Oh, okay. Then I am third in that list.
You're probably tied. No, Lloyd, you have 1. You have +1 on Nate.
Yeah, because...
Nate, who are you?
Okay, so
and why
anyways,
should we care?
My name is Nathaniel. You really shouldn't care much about
Great,
who
I don't. Next. Tell us something.
I am a student, a amateur magician, I guess you could call it. Amateur at a lot of things, actually. And that's really all you need to know about that.
All right. Today, as suggested by one of our commenters, I Make Art Hire Me super fan, the Lloydinator, suggested that we do an episode on failure. And I read that comment and said, yes. So I invited his legally distinct real-life personality, Lloyd, on.
Well, they assume I'm the real-life personality of the Lloydinator. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, we don't really know.
It's got like his whole like Slim Shady thing going on here right now.
Is Slim
my
Shady,
official Twitter is the Lloydinator 2 because the name was already taken.
That's weird. You should fight that person for dominance.
You'd have to find him first.
Yeah,
I can't find him.
I'd have to find him.
Would the
Just
real
tweet him.
the Lloydinator
like you
please
know the
stand
tweet
up?
handle. Just message the tweet handle and say you want to fight that person.
Dude,
for
I
dominance.
tweeted at Nick Maybury once, and I was like, which one of us is the real one? And he never responded. I think that was clever.
Yeah.
If I had gotten that, I would have responded in kind.
But unless you were like already in a discussion with him, it'd be kind of weird to get that out of the blue. Like, which one of us is the real Nick Maybury? It's like, I don't even know who you are.
I would still respond to that. Because I am the real one.
As evidenced by the fact that your phantom doesn't even respond to Twitter messages.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how real you are, other Nick Maybury.
Challenge issued.
Okay, so let's talk about failing at things.
Actually, do you want to give yourself a quick plug, Nick?
Me?
Yeah, we don't know who you are.
Oh, snap. Yeah, I need to start doing that more. I'm a 3D animator. I'm in the industry. That's neat.
You also have a podcast.
Yeah, I have a
Exciting
podcast.
happening
It's
with
called
that?
I Make Art Hire Me. This is that podcast. You are already watching.
Is it now available on iTunes?
Just ruined the thing that I was going to announce partway through. The podcast is on iTunes. I will throw a link below. That's super exciting because that means that somebody from iTunes was forced as part of their job to watch it, but after watching it, they were like, yeah, this is pretty good. I'll put it on iTunes.
This
Or
is definitely
potentially
Oh,
a
so they
podcast.
actually have to do that? By laws, like watch your whole video?
I don't know if they have to watch the whole thing, but it needs to get approved. So I think there's like a toddler watching them, and he's like, swear word! Swear word! And if he hears a swear word and it's not marked as like, there's swear words in here, then they give him candy or something. I don't know. I don't know how Apple works, okay? I use PC.
Yeah.
So, failure. Everybody's failed at something. Some people take it a little harder than others. It's super easy to get discouraged when you fail at something. And I guess when I say fail at something, that's pretty broad. I'm thinking, obviously, artistically. In episode 3, we were talking about the fear of the blank canvas and how you can be scared of starting something because you might be scared of failure. And on this, I want to focus more on after you have failed at something, and even the feeling that you had before that, how you would deal with that and recover from that.
You did your best, and your best just wasn't good enough, and it crashed and burned.
Yeah. So that can come about. So like if you're doing a drawing, if you're doing a painting, if you're doing an animation, pretty much if you're trying to go through life, you're trying not to mess it up because not great. Um, so some of the things that we've had happen to us are like really wanting to learn something. I really wanted to get into the college of my dreams. That didn't work out. Or trying to start a company and not having it work out. These are things that happen. Some are bigger than others. So before I describe what happens to somebody when they fail, let's go into the story. I want to start with Lloyd, on Lloyd's journey of failure. I want to hear about you and your little tiptoe into the world of programming and how that went.
Yes. It was grade 11.
I remember it well.
I remember it well. You really don't. I was an idiot. I was really into math and nerdy things and geeky things, and I had a bunch of nerdy geeky friends who took programming, and I was like, I love the internet and being nerdy and geeky and math. I'll take programming. Nate's just hiding his head in shame.
Because Nate actually does programming.
Yeah, Nate actually does programming. He's like, you had no idea what you're getting into, idiot. Anyway, so I went in and I just wasn't for me. Couldn't do it. No matter how hard I tried, I was the worst.
But I mean, like going into it, and Nate knows this, it's super cool to be a programmer, especially if you're coming from like a geeky or nerdy background. It's like, what do these people do? They program, they make cool stuff. Like, I don't make video games, I don't make apps. That's cool. And then you kind of go into it, and you're like, oh snap, this is hard.
Yeah.
So how was the little learning curve? Like, were you okay at first, or was it an instant wall of failure?
Like, the first couple things were like notation and like defining your terms and stuff. And I was fine at that because it was really rote. And then there was like, you build the interface, but it was like how the interface looks. And I was really good at that, and no one else was, because all of them were like, we're good at the actual problem-solving part, not the making it Apple-y quality.
We're good at the core of this.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're PC. We're not Apple, and I was Apple, not PC.
Common mistake.
Apple fanboys are just like sharpening their knives.
They're evoking the spirit of Steve. Like, I'm gonna wake up and he's gonna be giving a keynote on how he's gonna kill me.
Anyway. Once we got to like, there's like the one problem that really fucked me up, screwed me up.
Yo, that toddler's gonna be pissed. We're no longer on iTunes. Thanks, Lloyd. We're off.
The one problem that really screwed me up was like, you had to make a program that like you put in certain numbers into like a little thing, and then it was supposed to spit out a pyramid based off those numbers.
I did that.
Yeah.
I did it in QBasic. I don't even know. Oh no, I did do it. It took a really long time.
Yeah, I worked on that for like a good 40 hours for like a week, and I got nowhere.
We have
I'm
a mutual friend who works
at. Can't do it.
We know somebody who works at Google now, and that guy was in our high school class. And I remember asking him about this assignment, and he just, the way that he looked at me was like, Nick, it's a pyramid of numbers, but they were like, I forget, I should really look up what it was. But
you had to make like, so for every, you like put in like the number of lines on the pyramid, and then the first like block is like a 1. Then there's 2 2s, then there's 3 3s. You keep going until you get to the
Pascal's triangle.
Pascal's triangle. And then you also have to have like a little thing that says the number of blocks in the pyramid. And it was, yeah. And then our friend who now works at Google was like the guy next to me. And so like I'm struggling on this, and he's like, I can't help you. Like, I can't explain this to you anymore. It's a pyramid of numbers, and you figure out how many blocks are in it.
It's like looking at a picture of a bumblebee, and like the guy beside you is like, "That's a bumblebee," and you're just like, "I don't understand how this is a bumblebee." And he looks over and he's like, "I don't know how to explain to you that that is a bumblebee," and you
It's
just can't
like
see it.
it's like it was like an adult trying to explain to a toddler that if you take a glass full of water and you try and pour it all into a smaller glass, that it's all just gonna like slop out onto the floor.
And you're
Like
like,
I just
"Yeah, I understand it because like it's in the air for some time, so it's not in the glass, and that's probably why I'm gonna try that."
yeah yeah. Like
Anyway, that was
I
my
just had to
experience with
keep
Pascal's triangle.
I just kept failing and failing and failing at it. I just didn't understand.
So what did you do after realizing that you were having difficulty after putting 40 hours into Pascal's triangle? What did you do?
I quit the class in like a really long, drawn out, painful process.
What was that
Really,
painful process? Did you seek help out?
yeah, like my dad is really good at math, and he's also done programming before. And so I would go like I'd work for like I get home, I'd do like a bunch of work on this problem, then I'd like show him my work, and I'd be like, okay, can you help me walk me through where I'm screwing up? And he'd be like, okay, this, and this. And I'd be like, okay, great, and I'll apply it tomorrow, and I'm sure this time it'll work. And it won't. It never did. And eventually, I went 3 times to my guidance counselor and was like, I'm gonna drop the class. No, I'll give it a little more effort. And then like I would come back a day later and I'm like, I'm gonna drop the class. He's like, you sure? Because you said that before. No, you're right. I'll go try again. And then third time, it's just like,
Your guidance counselor sounds really sarcastic. Are you sure you're gonna drop it? Like you're
Oh,
on the
that
precipice
really
of being
sounds
a
like
high
the
school
secretary.
dropout.
I
That
got a
literally sound
much
like the secretary I had to deal with for dropping a class this semester.
I got
Literally
a
the
much
exact same
better
sarcasm.
guidance counselor at
Is your
later on.
secretary like, should you drop it? And you're like, I don't know. You're my guide me.
Well, she was more along the lines of like she looked at my sheet. She's like, well, why are you dropping this class? I was like, because I failed the midterm and I failed it pretty badly. Like, well, you should like give it a chance, like see if you can still. I was just like, no, like I would no. And so then I give her my drop form, and she's like, you know, this class isn't available next semester, right? And I was just like, that's not the issue here. The issue isn't whether the class is available next semester or not. The issue is I'm dropping it right now. Like why
Can
can't
you do
understand?
that, or do I have to see somebody else for that?
Like,
Yeah.
Guide me.
oh my goodness.
So, let's. I'm gonna take my pipe and sit down on my leather couch and ask you, Lloyd, how did that make you feel?
Really terrible.
I found the C code
This-
for Pascal's triangle just now. Anyway, sorry, continue.
I hate you.
I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, shut up. I don't know. It was like my first big failure, especially in school, at a thing I thought I was good at and all my friends were good at, and like the guy sitting next to me was amazing at. So you really feel like the odd man out, and it's tough not to take it on the chin. As in,
Strange saying.
as in an uppercut. Like,
Yep.
it's just an uppercut of sadness and unhappiness right to the
An
chin.
uppercut of sadness.
I like that.
I like that. That's a good
The
metaphor.
sadness sure you can, if
Fo-
you will.
Followed by a quick right hook of just despair.
Just despair.
So let's discuss some things that happen when you fail in a big way or a significant way to you. So going into programming, obviously it's like it's what nerdy people do, and it's cool, and if you want to be part of that, it's like that's like the football player equivalent in
It's
geek
the
culture.
jock of the geek world.
Yeah, it's strange how it works out,
Like-
but that's kind of it.
Like, that's the football thing. Learning Elvish or Klingon is like basketball. And then
Such a strange hierarchy.
Yeah.
like being the greatest at every video game is like being a hockey player in Canada.
What is tennis level?
Tennis level would be like,
Being a magician.
yeah, maybe being a magician or knowing like a real world foreign language that you didn't have to learn in school.
Oh, see, okay. So, some things that happen when you fail in a significant way. I'm gonna break it down into three things. Number one, you feel a little bit of sour grapes. You think maybe programming is just really hard. I couldn't learn it anyway because it's hard, and that's dumb. Only geniuses can learn programming.
Not true.
No, that's not true. But it's kind of what happens when you fail. Your mind, you get like this distortion field around you, and you start to feel. The second thing you start to feel is a lot of self-defeat. So you feel like not even so much that, oh, that's really hard, like that's up here, more of like, I'm down here. I'm not good enough to actually succeed in this. I'm not strong enough. I'm incapable of doing it. And the third thing that your brain starts to do is it kills your ability to create. So you lose your motivation to do it in the first place. And coupled with that, you're afraid to take creative risks. So you start like, you think like, anytime I'm going to step out and try this again, or I'm going to take a chance on this, you're like, oh, fate's just going to slap me on the hand again and be like, you're not allowed to go after your dreams. You're not allowed to do things that you want to do because it's going to turn out to be hard.
It's part of growing up, Junior. You got to learn that things aren't going to work out. Everything's terrible, and you just got to deal with that.
It's weird how, for whatever reason, brains are naturally wired to be like, life's bad. Don't live it. Like, and I get that it's like a survival thing. Like, if you go out, you're like, I'm going to learn how to hunt, and like, you get stabbed instead. Then you're
if you're like, I'm gonna go up the mountain, and then you get like attacked by a bobcat and you fall down the mountain, you're not gonna be like, I'm gonna go back up that mountain and prove.
Not even like it could have been like a squirrel jumped past me, but it was like close to my eyes, and so you get scared and you're like, I'm going up that mountain. There are mountain squirrels on that mountain. I think it had really big teeth, like bigger than normal squirrels.
There's nothing even up the mountain that I want. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, or you might do that. You might be like, well, I don't even want to climb that mountain. And, like, you can clearly see, like, a mansion in technology on top of the mountain. And you're like...
There's, like, Steve Jobs on top of the mountain. And you're like, I'm just some lowly caveman. I don't need Steve Jobs technology.
To pour salt in the wound, he's giving you a keynote on how to climb the mountain most efficiently, but you can't hear him because he's so loud. Yeah. That's how cruel Steve Jobs is.
That's your brain on failure.
God rest his soul.
Your brain on failure is the sad caveman at the foot of Steve Jobs Mountain.
It's my favorite landmark.
If you were to be able to like get a cartoon drawing of that, like an editorial cartoon, and get put in the paper, that'd be hilarious.
That would be great. I would draw it myself. Except that.
He's got a whole thing.
I feel like I cut you off while you were mumbling about this cartoon. Were you describing it, like, visually?
Yeah, I was. Yeah. Like, I'm thinking of, like, newspaper editorial, like, cartoons and what they
Why
look
don't
like.
you draw it?
Because I can't draw newspaper editorial cartoons?
Well, that's your brain on failure talking.
That's true. You should perk your ears up and listen to what Jobs has to say up there. His lofty peak. That jerk.
Why you gotta hate on Steve Jobs so much?
I think Apple's done really well for itself, and I think the global economy agrees.
Without Steve Jobs, we wouldn't have Pixar. Without Steve Jobs and without Pixar, we would have 3D animation, but not in the way that we have it. So I probably wouldn't have a job if not for him.
No.
Without Pixar, we wouldn't have the greatest like animated movie of all time, Cars and Cars 2.
Get out of my face! Shut up.
No, it's Cars. Then Planes.
Then Planes 2. Then Cars 2.
Why, Lassiter? Why? You can have one. You can have one where you get to, like, explore your weird vehicle fetish. But, like, planes, man.
I think he's coming out with boats next year.
Is that real, or are you just saying that?
Let me look it up.
Nick doesn't like Cars, by the way, podcast.
Cars has a fine story. It's fine. It's just kind of strange that they're anthropomorphic cars, and it's strange that there's 3 of them, and it's strange that there's a sequel about planes.
And they also made Pixar just an insane amount of money.
They did. Still like Cars backpacks everywhere.
Yeah. So
I get it. But
This
Yeah,
is
they
Nick's.
are making a Pixar boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is Nick's like creative anger being like, ah, and then his like economic mind is like, well, it makes sense.
It's well, yeah. It's so dumb too because I'm like, ah, but I'm only like, ah, because it's like I don't want cars. I want like mystical beasts and elves and fairies and dwarves.
Yeah.
So it's really just like car freaks versus normal freaks. I don't know, like Tolkien freaks.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Actually, it said it already came out. Oh, it was a short. Never mind. Okay.
oh god. So yeah, when you fail at stuff, your brain does a lot of crappy things to tell you not to climb Steve Jobs' mountain.
I'm really digging that metaphor.
I love it. Good work.
Thank you.
Hope this recording works.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So what I kind of did for something that I have failed at in a way that will work well for this topic is drawing. Since I was a kid, I wanted to be good at drawing. I think every kid who's like, I want to be an animator, or pretty much any
Of
kid
which
wants to be
they
good at
are
drawing.
legion.
What?
I didn't know any child growing up who was like, I want to be an animator.
Oh,
None.
I guess
So
because
I'm mocking the like.
right. Yeah, I guess it's like I want to be a cop.
Yeah.
I don't know if the next generation will feel that way. Let's not get
They'll
into
probably
that.
want to be pay lawyers.
The dream.
The dream.
So I wanted to draw since forever, and then when I learned that I wanted to get into animation, I wanted to not only draw well, but draw really, really well. And so I started like studying stuff. I started going to life drawing since I was in grade 11, I think.
Yeah.
Tried really hard at that. I was doing life drawing for 5 years, and drawing is something that did not come naturally to me. I would keep plateauing. Okay, 5 years. I did this for 5 years. In defense of it, I did not practice a lot on my own, but I still went to these classes and I still studied it and I did the work that was assigned of me. And after 5 years, I was okay. Like, I was stronger than some people. I could make things that I thought were nice, but I'm not certain that I could do it consistently. And if I didn't practice it often, I would forget it really quickly. And it just didn't click with me very well. And I wasn't progressing at drawing as fast as I was at, say, modeling or animating in 3D. Pretty much all the 3D aspects I was much quicker with than actual drawing because the computer gets to do the drawing for you. So at some point I realized I could draw really well, but the effort that it would take me in order to do that is much more than I anticipated. And at some points it was much more time needed than I had or that I thought that I had. And so I had to kind of hit a point where I asked myself, do I just power through it? Or do I accept that I'm not going to be great at drawing and I don't make that a huge priority in my life in order to put other things at the forefront? Like maybe I should study animation so I can get into an animation job, which is the path that I chose. And there's a thing by a talk or an article by Craig McCracken. He's the guy who made the Powerpuff Girls, and he worked on Dexter's Lab with Jendi Tartakovsky, whatever his last name is.
Yep, that's how you say it.
Oh, great. Glad I nailed it. And he was saying that he wasn't strong at drawing either. And, like, look at the Powerpuff Girls. Their hands are stubs. But his point was that he kept practicing it even though he was bad at it. And other people who were around him, this was when he was in school. He was in Cal Arts. So his classmates who were really good at drawing wouldn't practice it because they were like, I'm good, that's fine. But he would practice it because he knew that he was bad at it. And so by the end of his time at school, he drew better than everybody else around him because he practiced more than they did.
That's a story of success, not failure. This is the wrong podcast.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's something that, like, hearing that and knowing that if I put the time in, I would eventually become better, and still saying, no, it's hard. Like, it's very hard. So I still failed at it, even understanding why I failed at it and what I could do to be better at it. And that's something important that I want to touch on in the wrap up.
Despite hearing the keynote speech on how to get up the mountain, your caveman brain was just like pointless. No.
Yeah, I mean, there's oh my god, my own video froze on Skype. That hasn't happened before. There's a point to be said about whether you are giving up or whether you are choosing to stop. And on the surface, it doesn't look very big, but I think if you can understand what's happening and what you could do, understanding all the steps you could take in order to do it, and then deciding that, no, those aren't steps that I want to take, or that's not necessarily for me, I think that's a better way to go about it. That being said, I should definitely put time into drawing, and so should everyone, if that's what you want to learn. So here's some things that you can do to overcome what your brain does when you start failing. So, like I said, you get sour grapes, like, oh, that mountain's too big anyway. Feel some self-defeat. Maybe I am not mountain goat ability man. And it kills
well
your...
stated.
Maybe it kills your ability to create. You're not motivated, you're afraid to take risks. So, obviously, the first thing you have to do is take a deep breath and understand that that's what's happening. It's hard to do in the moment because you're kind of overtaken by emotions, but don't buy into what your brain will tell you. Very likely you are capable of succeeding in your endeavors. The thing you want to do likely isn't as daunting as you believe it is. And you need to recognize fear that you have. And like trying again feels scary, and that's a natural feeling to have. And you need to know that that's what you're going to feel. That's number one. There are three. Number two, like I said, you're going to feel lots of emotions. There's going to be lots of feelings bubbling in your tummy. Emotions are hard. But you could logic them away with your very own brain by breaking it down into steps. So the most difficult things in the world become easy when you break them down far enough into manageable steps. So write out what you're trying to do, figure out how you can get there, step by step, what you can do. And each one of those steps should be something that you can do right away. So maybe I can't climb this mountain right now, and you're like, bro, I don't have enough upper back strength. You could write down, climb mountain, under that, not enough upper back strength. And the third point would be like, don't skip back day. So you break it down into manageable steps, things that you can do. Number three, who is messaging me as we do this? Yes,
yeah,
I'm
still there.
Here.
Oh, okay, cool. You're frozen on my screen. I thought you were about to like drop.
Oh no, I just wasn't moving.
Oh, no,
Very
are you moving
still.
right now? 'Cause
That's
No.
what his military training taught him.
move around so I can see that your screen's there. Yeah, you're still not moving.
But you
on
have
my screen.
keys too. Why do you have? Are we cats?
Oh no, they were just on my desk and I grabbed them to play with them.
Great.
I'm not a cat. Clearly,
Playing with keys is fun.
Yeah,
I
it
have
is.
nothing against that.
that's why babies do it.
That's true.
And they're so into cars. As any human is.
It's natural. Cavemen loved cars.
Cavemen loved them.
It's in our DNA.
That's why they invented the wheel. They're like, one day we'll be
no.
able to attach this to something.
Oh no, it makes sense now. What
One
have
day
we
we'll be
done?
able to attach this to like a frame and then also something to make them move.
And then like, wow, what if we made that? And then somebody could like make a film about it. And the caveman was like, what's film? And then they had to work that out. For
And then they were,
thousands.
that's also why they started painting pictures on the side of the cave.
So
were
they
like,
can
if
make
we could
cars.
If we could just paint enough of these pictures and then move the caves really quickly, it would
All
look
of human
like it's
evolution
moving.
is leading towards the Cars franchise.
Now we just don't know what to do.
So we didn't invent the wheel as like utilitarian. We invented it to make a movie about it attached to frames.
But what if that's what cavemen actually did to get like the pictures to move? Is they painted them in a circle around their cave and then just spun around.
They
And, like,
didn't
just tried
do
to keep
that
track of the
because
pictures.
we found their caves. So we know that's not what happened.
You don't know. Maybe there were some special cavemen.
What if they drew it on the wall in a circle and then they spun around really fast?
That's what I meant.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I thought you said draw it on a wheel and then spin it.
Oh no, I meant like draw around their cave, like on the walls around their cave,
Oh, because I
and then
got
just
that
stood in the
idea and
middle.
I thought it was really funny. Turns out I directly stole yours. Nate, that was very funny.
Thanks, Shia LaBeouf.
Number 3. Third thing you can do to overcome your brain telling you not to climb Steve Jobs' mountain. Understand that you failing at this is a single experience. It is not a generalization. You don't make sweeping generalizations about yourself, about the thing that you failed at. It doesn't determine whether or not you're able to actually accomplish it or succeed in it. So that's number 3. There you go. Your brain's gonna tell you, hey, you suck and I hate you. Stop living life the way that you want to. And I say nay, nay. I say the previous 3 points that I said, which were, don't buy into it. You tell your brain no. No, don't tell me those things. That's very rude. And then number 2, if your belly's tumbling with emotions, you say, well, calm down there. Let's think about this. Let's break this down into climbable steps. We can get up this mountain because I want to hear this keynote. And then 3, understand that falling once is just that. You only fell off the mountain once. It doesn't mean that you're bad at climbing mountains. It just means that you fell down once.
Any failure that doesn't end with your hat on fire and everyone dead isn't a real failure.
Isn't that cartoon where he's like,
Yeah.
Everything's just fine?
The guy's like
guess.
sitting surrounded by fire, and he's like, "This is fine. Everything is fine."
I maybe I'm a little out of it today.
Even better than that, I like the Shiba Inu who gets stuck in a bush and is just chilling.
Yeah.
He's like, this is cool.
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna
because
be here for a few hours.
it knows that unless you die, you can always try again. Any failure that doesn't result in you being permanently injured or dead is not a real failure.
And I think Shiba Inus inherently understand this.
Yeah, Shiba Inus, when their brain goes on failure, they're just like, well, I fell down the mountain, but I'm going to try again because I'm not dead. And also, I really want to go to Steve's Jobs mansion.
They love it
Well,
the
they probably
most.
try again because they can't comprehend human speech.
This house is made
They
of
just
dog treats and jerky.
Don't even listen to Steve Jobs and just climb the mountain. He's like,
Are
I
you
want to
saying
be
these
at the top of
dogs
that
would
mountain.
disregard Steve Jobs?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oof.
That's
Cool, buddy.
a pretty big claim.
Yeah.
Have I mentioned we're on iTunes? Maybe you want to take that back? I don't know. You're going to make a toddler really angry tonight.
We're already,
The
off,
iTunes toddler.
we're already off iTunes because I swore earlier.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. The screening toddler is furious right now. So, Nate, now that we have told all
Sorry.
the secrets of how to climb Steve Jobs' mountain, how to succeed, you know what? Not succeed, how to defeat failure and drop kick it in its nose, which is where you should aim first. It causes tears. It will get very disoriented. Then you can go in for another
Going for
drop
the
kick.
kill.
Because a drop kick is the coolest move, and you should only do drop kicks.
What about the heart rippy outy? Bup.
Yeah, you can rip it out. Just do it with a drop kick.
Oh, okay.
Like get your toes in there, so like kick with like
As
no
I-
shoes or socks
as
on it
I'm-
when you kick. Like grab it with your toes and pull it out.
No. What you do is, as you're drop kicking it, you transform into a raptor, and not like a tiny little chicken,
That's my favorite move.
but like
That's Krav Maga, right?
Or
Where you
like
turn
the-
into a raptor?
yeah, or like the Chinese, like 6 feet tall raptors, and like you've got big clawed feet, and then like you just double kick those into the heart area and just rip it away.
Yeah, that makes much more sense than using your own human foot. I don't know why I didn't think of transforming into a raptor. Partway through my double heart drop kick.
How are you gonna use your freaking toes to punch through the chest cavity? It's a pretty strong. You can't do that. I thought
Well,
everyone
you just
did that.
practice.
Yeah,
Nate, I can't hear you.
I can't explain this to you anymore. This is Pascal's triangle all over again.
Nate, no one can hear you. Speak. Turn it up.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear him at all.
Oh, something happened.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
You hear me now?
Can Nate hear me? Nate. Okay. Well, yeah, I can hear you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Nate, I can't hear you very well, which means everybody who's gonna watch this can't hear you well.
What about now?
Oh, yo, yeah,
Can you hear me now?
yeah.
Yes.
Pitch your voice lower,
Can you hear me now?
even lower.
I don't know if I can go that low.
All
Okay,
right.
so I guess I'll have to talk like this, holding the gigantic ball that is my mic up to my mouth.
That's
Well,
fine.
then I don't want to be there. Now we all have mics in the frame.
And we all have glasses too.
Yeah. I'm just gonna put that away now.
Nate, tell us about your story. Rumor says it's about hitting the gym.
Yes, because that is what I've been doing recently. I also gotta let me know if I end up my voice ends up going too loud with this being so close because
Oh, I will let you know.
Cool. I'm just
Don't
gonna
fret.
put this down. You still hear me? Still good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, where do my mouse?
Actually,
So-
bring it back to your mouth.
So, okay. So, yeah, Lloyd, find something to hold in your hand like this. And now start quoting the Raven. Anyways, okay. So yeah,
Nevermore.
so
My girlfriend just
Nevermore.
walked in to see this. Perfect timing.
classic. Okay, yeah. So for me, recently, the best place, other than certain things that happened at school, the best place I've been able to like sort of quantify my failure is in the gym, because recently, as late as the summer that just happened, I started a new program specifically designed to increase my strength on my major lifts. Now, what that program entails is me doing what is called 1 rep max testing, which is where you test increasing weight for a single rep until you hit your max and you
Which
can't.
sounds like a
push that.
terrible idea.
Which a lot of
Put
people.
all the weight that you think you can handle, that you can only do once, and do that.
Yeah. And then it just keeps increasing until your form breaks down. But you as a lifter, you should still stay within safe training parameters so you don't hurt yourself. But at
What
the
did
same
you
time,
do?
no, I didn't actually. I didn't hurt myself on the program, but it was a very like.
Who did you
scary thing at
hurt?
first. I hurt a little child in the gym. Anyways, no, it was actually very scary at first because the program basically said, as you tested this, it's just like you need to keep going until you fail. Right? That is when you know you're done, is when you hit failure, is when you can't push the weight anymore. So that took a little bit of getting used to, because now it's no longer, oh, okay, I'll go in the gym and like squat however much weight that feels good for the max amount of reps that I think I need to, and I can walk away still feeling okay. But now it's just like you need to keep putting weight on and you need to keep pushing until you're just like, okay, I can't do this anymore. We're done. This is as much as I can do right here and right now. Which was a sobering thought when I started this program, because now I had to be that person in the gym that I didn't want to be, mainly that person who was hitting failure, who people are looking at being, oh, like, why is that guy pushing so much weight if he can't push it? And it's just like, oh, this is my program. I have to fail. I have to be that person that is in the gym and is just like, maybe just fails and drops the weights on the ground and makes a gigantic noise.
So you get to be loud, obnoxious, and not achieving. It looks like you're not actually even.
Yeah, I had to be Lloyd, essentially. I had to be.
I'm just imagining Nick's audience for this podcast, all like 10 of them, and like I'm just picturing like grade 10, like kind of nerdy high school kids who like do not go to the gym, being like,
I've never
why
been to
is
the
this?
gym.
You trying to talk
What?
smack about my audience?
Yeah,
He has
I am.
22 subscribers, by the way, Lloyd. Check your privilege.
22. Wow.
I will destroy you.
How many of
dare
them are
you?
me?
My audience is an intellectual group of artists, and they have dreams, and they have a path to follow. And what they do and do not do in their spare time is of no concern to you, the Lloydinator. Now
to the
hold your
Legally
water bottle up
distinct.
and join the discussion.
Cut
How
to the
dare
picture
you?
of Matt feeding a cow an apple. This is my user following. He's just like, oh my god, a cow. Anyways, have you guys not seen that picture?
No, I've seen
Matt
it.
feeding
We're not going to talk about
We're not
a
gonna
picture
talk
of our
about this
friend
now.
that nobody's ever going to see. where he feeds a cow and it looks hilarious.
It does look hilarious.
Continue with your story. So
Anyway.
you're failing all over the place, even though this is what your program is designed to do.
Yeah, so
And
obviously
you're feeling kind of weird about it.
at first it felt kind of weird about it. Then, you start getting used to it. But then you start getting into your mindset where if I can make regular increases in my weight, then I should set a goal for myself at the end of 4 months. So for me, my main goal was to have a 315-pound deadlift. That's 3 plates on either side.
Mother of God.
So anyway, so I trained for those full 4 months. I gave it everything I got. And this was like the last day I had in the gym. My membership was frozen and I had to move back to school. So it was like my last chance to aim for this goal. And I got into the gym. I warmed up like I should.
Got drop kicked.
I drop kicked. I'm like, I'm going to drop kick failure in the face. I'm going to deadlift this 315, put it on the ground, slap the nearest person beside me in the face, and walk out of this gym, never to be seen again. And what ended up happening was I went and I lifted...
You got slapped in the face. You walked in, you're like, hey, can I use that bar for my deadlifts? And he puts it down and slaps you across the face, walks out of the gym, never to be seen again.
Never to
You're
be
like,
seen
damn
again.
it, that guy finished the program. You're like, good job, man.
Then he comes back really quick and drops kicks you in the
Yeah,
chest.
drop kicks me.
Promptly
As
turning
I'm-
into a raptor mid-drop.
Yeah, probably turning into a raptor.
Maximum
Mid-kick.
effect.
Oh my goodness. That'd be the weirdest transformation ever. Anyways, that aside. So I went in, I put...
False.
Okay,
Turning
I don't
into
want
a
to...
beluga whale.
He's not wrong.
He isn't wrong, actually. Turning into
Yeah.
a beluga werewolf would be good. Especially on land, because you were
Yeah,
transforming
yeah.
about.
Okay, so you're
Like-
going in to smash this deadlift that you've been training
Yeah.
4 months to, destroying your
months.
body and failing every day in order to do it.
So
What
I get in
happens?
there, I put 300 pounds on, lift it, it goes up just fine. Everything's okay, I feel good. I put 305 on, I lift it a little bit heavier, but I think I can manage.
About 5
I
pounds
put-
heavier, actually.
Yeah, well, yeah. I put the full 315
sorry.
pounds on. Put the full 315 pounds on. Get ready. Go to lift this bar, and it comes maybe an inch or two off the ground before I fail and I drop it. And I'm sitting there looking at the bar. I'm like, okay, no, this can't happen. This is my last day. I've worked 4 months for this, and I've given it everything I have.
Mhm.
There's no way I'm not lifting this. So I rested for a little bit, went back, set up to do the deadlift again, and my body just wouldn't lift the weight off the ground. It wouldn't even come an inch off the ground. And I sat there and I tried to like pull as much weight as I could. And there were people in the gym looking at me doing this because it was busy. Right? This wasn't quiet hour. Because
I don't
at the
even
same
like
time,
that when I'm doing well.
Because at the same time I was
Yeah.
sitting there, I was like, I could wait for the gym to be quiet so I don't have to deal with people. But I know the longer I wait is the faster I'm going to talk myself out of lifting this 315. So I got to
Yeah.
go regardless. And I was just sitting there and I lifted it. It didn't come off the ground. And it was like at that point where everything like came flooding in. It's just like, I'm admitting defeat. My 4 months training is over. I didn't reach my goal. This is as far as I can go. People are looking at me.
Humiliated yourself in
I
front of the
actually
gym.
heard one lady in the gym talking to her like her husband, and she was just like I heard. I don't know if she's talking about me, but I just heard it mentioned that she's like, I can't believe that guy thought he could lift 315 pounds, and it's just like, and whether that was to me or not, it doesn't matter. But it was just like,
Who else is like specifically lifting 300?
well, no, well, her
And
husband like,
specifically
really big guy.
doing it and then failing
like,
to do it.
They were talking about like lifting. I don't even know because my headphones were half off. I just heard like
Okay.
315, so I assume it was.
Brain
to
is
me.
picking up on all these things.
Yeah. So like I was just sitting there and I just looked at the bar and I could feel the disappointment. I could feel everyone looking at me. And all I could do at that point was just take the weights off one plate at a time
Oh,
and just put them away,
the re-rack of
Oh,
shame.
Block of shame.
Yeah. re-rack the weights, put everything away and just call it a day.
Re-rack
And it
of
was like
shame.
it was the worst feeling I could ever have for the entirety of that summer. It's just I worked
False.
4 months for this
You
and
could have gotten cancer.
Jesus!
That
Why
would
do
be
you have-
worse.
why do you have Lloyd on these podcasts? Like he's a morbid person.
Or he could have gotten a kidney stone. That's supposed to hurt worse than giving birth. Like that could have been much worse than having to re-rack.
Okay, worse than anything I experienced so far that summer. Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay, good. Okay. God, Lloyd.
I'm
I
a
wonder
little-
why
I'm
you
a
have the
little out of it
highest
today,
fail rate of
guys.
episodes that didn't go to air.
Other than you have a higher rate than me, Nick.
That's because I make them. I have to be there.
Yeah.
I make podcasts. Hire me. That's
make
me.
Yeah, but that's basically my story of failure, and it's happened for multiple other lifts too. Like it's not just deadlift. There have been other times where I've gone in the gym feeling great, and it's just like, okay, I'm going to set a new personal record today, and I end up doing worse than I did the week before, and it's just like the failure continues to happen in the gym regardless of if you want it to or not, and it's just a matter of realizing that it's not the end of the world. That if I can't hit 315, like I still broke 300 pounds. Which a lot of people I talk to are just like, oh, dude, you broke like a 300-pound deadlift. And I was like, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. But at the same time, I didn't hit my goal. It was a goal I set for myself. It was what I wanted. Like just what I absolutely wanted. I would have hit every single goal I had for that summer. This was the last one, and I just couldn't do it. And it was just like the most disappointing feeling in the world.
That's important to note because even though like you failed at your ultimate goal or your final goal there, you still accomplished a lot, and you certainly grew. Like everybody's saying, you broke a 300-pound deadlift, which, oh my god, I would be a puddle. I would be useless after that if I could even do it. If my spine didn't like out of my back.
Yeah, if my muscles didn't liquefy trying to exert
Yeah.
enough force.
Right. But it's important to note that even if you fail in your experience, you're still gonna learn from it. Like even though I was like, well, drawing isn't my strong suit, it's not my top priority right now, I still did learn a lot, and a lot of things that have helped me, like how to see form, how to look at things with an artist's eye, which is something that people say, which is very cliche, but is true and happens. Learned so much from it, and even though I didn't hit my ultimate goal of being the best drawer ever, I still learned so much in things that I can apply.
It's a pretty subjective title. Best drawer ever.
Yeah.
I just also want to interject that it kind of looks like Nick is slowly bringing the thing in his hand closer to his mouth, like he's trying to talk into it when, like he's using the thing in his hand as the mic.
He has a clear mic, and then he's also like, this
yeah,
mic.
He's also like, this is
this
my
tells
like,
me the temperature.
Oh, so you're using it to check how much fire you're spitting.
Oh,
yeah. Too hot. Hot damn.
Hot damn.
Only call the firemen, though. We know that it's a heat issue. You don't need to call the police. EMS would be fine, though. That might be needed.
That sounds like the white guy version of Uptown Funk.
Well, call the firemen only. I don't want to waste resources. There are other people who
maybe
might
send some EMS.
Nick, I feel like we should cover that song, but like replace the lyrics with like those. I think it'd be great.
And like, maybe we will. I posted a link to Newborn Unicorn on the last one, and I had forgotten that it was on my YouTube channel, like the Nick Mabry channel, and I'm like, it's pretty much us covering Hollywood Undead, and me trying to look moody holding an acoustic guitar. That's all that channel is.
Where's the one where I had to act sad? Is that one still?
That's when we covered the National, and you ate.
Was that?
No, I think that's. I think
We're
it's
getting off topic, guys.
That's
Anyways,
true.
yeah.
We are getting off topic. So did you? You didn't end up stopping, or did you keep working out after that, or were you like, no, I'm done?
Well, actually, that was also another point too, where I was just like, I didn't hit my main goal, and it was like a point of depression where I was just like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go back and work out. Maybe I should just like take a little extra time off. But then my brother was just like, he just came out of nowhere. It's just like, okay, there's this program I want to do. Let's do it together. And it actually was harder than the program I did over the summer. And I'm still going through that program right now. Like I'm still working out. I'm not.
So you could
going
say
to
that
quit.
you had support from others to help you get back on your feet.
Yeah, well, my brother was just
One
like, it doesn't
might
matter
say.
if you didn't hit your goal. Let's hit this new program and work towards a better goal, because this program has different goals that you can work towards other than what you were doing before. So I was like, all right, cool. Let's do this new program. And now my brother and I have been doing that since we started school.
There you go. If you didn't hit your original goal, there's still a bunch of stuff out there to do. And you can always go back to the 315 one later, too. Like, it's not... You didn't fail at it forever. They don't cross it out.
You're not
Yeah, exactly.
dead or severely injured, so it's not a real failure.
That's true.
Everything's not on fire. You just still have hats, I'm assuming.
It might have just been a squirrel with big teeth.
It might have just been a squirrel with big teeth.
That is actually what distracted me during my lift, as I looked at the mirror and there was a squirrel attacking an old lady.
The bobcats didn't get you. You're okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, to wrap it up, I actually have this written out, so it's going to sound kind of bad. So yeah, painting is hard and drawing is hard, animating is hard, 3D is hard, art is hard. And
so is programming and lifting.
Programming and lifting are also very hard.
Everything is hard.
Very few things are easy.
My life's pretty easy, so I think you guys are wrong.
Great. Happy to hear it. Never come back.
Well, it's also just like Les Brown, who's a motivational speaker I look at too. He always has the quote where if it was easy, then everybody would be doing it.
This is true.
Right?
Yep. That's how I live my life.
Well, it's like not everybody can live this life.
Yeah. People think it's easy having your life be easy. It's really hard.
It is actually very hard to make life easy.
It is very hard to make life easy.
Anyway, continue. Do you wrap up?
Continue, Nick.
So
Close this up.
yeah, even going to school, like college, university, it's not easy. Going out on your own, trying to pay bills, like life isn't easy. Some aspects of these things will come easy to you, and some will be much harder. If you fail at something, before you decide to put it down, before you decide to give up on it, you should do yourself the justice and the self-respect of dispelling your own self-doubt and seeing things for what they are. So if you understand the actual scope of the problem, understand that you can do it with solid planning and practice, then you can decide whether or not to put it down. So they shouldn't be giving up, it should be deciding to put it down. You should decide to stop pursuing this, and it shouldn't be decided for you. So whatever you're drop the egg. Whatever you're having,
call the fire department. Just spit some fire according to the egg.
So basically, if you're having trouble with programming, if you're having trouble with drawing, if you failed at lifting, there are two paths, one of which is the recommended one, which everybody will tell you, where you need to get back up and give it another try. And you can do so by dispelling your own self-doubt and looking at it, breaking it down into steps, giving it another go. If you decide to put it down, that's what it should be. It should be you putting it down, and it shouldn't be you giving up. So that thing shouldn't dictate to you whether or not you can do it. You should dictate to yourself whether or not you can do it. That is the wisdom of a very, very young man. So that could be obsolete, and older people will probably laugh. Finn.
Okay, guys, so feel free to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube video channel. Leave a comment below. We're now on iTunes, so feel free to check that out. This has been I Make Art, Please Hire Me. Do you have any closing statements, Nate?
I'm just going to say, I feel like Lloyd should be present at every other one that you do, but he should just not say anything for the entire thing, only to come in at the end and do this plug every single time.
Well, I don't think that's going to happen. Anyway, guys, it's been fun. Gonna close the podcast now. Please tune in next week. We've got this guy, Rob, who's really cool. He does life teaching, I guess, would be a good thing to say. Nick will be there. So that's a plus, and see you all then.
Yeah, that was all true. Rob Corbett's gonna be on next week. It's gonna be super exciting. He's like a life coach, like a speaker. He does a lot of workshops.
I really wanted you to cut it right there.
I was thinking about it, but then I was like, no, because I want to rep Rob more. It's gonna be super wicked awesome. For all the advice that I can't give you here, you will get it next week. And it will be fantastic. We're going to talk about setting goals. So we kind of talked about breaking things down into steps and following them. We're going to expand on that idea. And basically, you're going to set a mark in the future, and you are going to hit it. Yeah, he's great. He has a bunch of videos. He has a blog.
Do you know who the other guest is going to be?
I don't know yet. I'm spinning a wheel right now, and we'll see who it lands on.
Cool.
Anyway, I am your actual host, Nick Mabry. thank you for watching. Don't listen to Lloyd. You're all beautiful, talented people.
I never
and
said
I love
they weren't
all of
beautiful,
you.
talented
Don't
people.
forget to do the Movember plug too, Nick.
Oh, snap. Yeah, I'm not shaving
he's
my
got
face this entire month.
Co.
Okay, can you stop?
Bruh.
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 So, if you know what Movember is, well, I guess if you don't, it's an organization that raises funds to help find cures and treatments towards testicular cancer, prostate cancer, and I believe this is new. They're targeting mental health for men. The majority of suicides are by young men, I believe. I don't know the full statistic on it, but it's something that's very serious, and I feel would affect people who watch this more so than prostate and testicular cancer. So, if that's something that you care about, you should give money to Movember. If you want to do that through me and help save the world, you can do so by going to mobro.co/Nick Mabry. That's MAYBURRY. We're having a super competitive thing at the studio. I am in third place. We've raised about $1,000 now. So, I could win a shaving kit, you guys. Wouldn't you want that for me? wouldn't you want to give that to your old pal, Nick?
Or you could give money to everyone other than Nick.
Yeah,
Because
or
it'd
you
be
could
funny.
spite me. It goes to the same place. It's a good cause, so I wouldn't be that mad. But if it helps you donate, I'd be really mad. That's about it. Follow me up on
Are you
Twitter.
going to have a link to mobro.co below?
Sure. Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
Right. Oh, it's fun. Mobro.co.
Mobro.co, link below.
Mobro.co. Link below. I like it.
Yeah.
If you want to hit us up on Facebook, it's facebook.com/imakearthire me. I'll have the iTunes link below because I don't think it's a super easy link. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Bye,
Climb that
guys.
Steve Jobs mountain, everybody.